Max Sterling. Welcome to LarpMix. And whew, is it hot where I'm located? I'm not sure where you're at. I'm in the middle of a heat wave where I am, and climate change just may be a real thing because I don't remember it being this hot when I was a kid. But I do have a LARP coming up next weekend, and with these high temperatures, keeping hydrated is going to be very important. Now, there's a saying that everybody knows that I'm not going to say because that's not how I do, but you can say it yourself if you want to. But hydration is really the key to enjoying yourself and being able to perform well. Anyone that plays sports knows this. Anyone that has hobbies like backpacking, hiking, biking, stuff like that, where it's important to stay hydrated, knows all this. And you as a LARPer, because it is usually a physical type thing, should know this. Now, if you're playing a parlor LARP and it's inside, it's air conditioned or something, then, it may become less important. But if you're out on a battlefield wearing full armor, if you're out in the bright sunlight wearing all black like some of us do, then it's very important to drink water or sports drinks and stay hydrated. Now, some general rules of thumb is about 2 hours before activity, you want to start drinking water or maybe a sports drink, depending on what it is that you're doing. And 2 hours before, you want to drink probably about 20 ounces or 600 milliliters of water and just sort of get things going, because staying properly hydrated for performance is an all-day thing. So start drinking basically as soon as you get up. Now, throughout the course of the day, if you're going to be doing stuff that's going to be less than 60 minutes, water is usually okay, they say. If you're going to be doing prolonged activity over 60 minutes, which is probably most LARPs, then you're probably going to want to go with some sort of sports drink. And if you're diabetic, don't worry, they do make sugar-free versions, and you can find diabetic options out there. And if you have any other sort of food allergies and stuff, you can probably find something that works for you. But if not, if you have a bottle of water, approximately, that 20 ounce, 600 milliliter size, pinch of salt, as long as it has sodium and potassium in it, and maybe a squeeze of lemon or lime in there, shake it up, and that can double for you. Or if you're someplace where you don't have actual sports drinks, but you have access to those type of things, you can make your own. As far as snacks, if you're going to snack on stuff out on the trail, if you know it's going to be a hot day or you know you're going to be possibly getting dehydrated, fruits and vegetables are your best way to go. So instead of bringing beef jerky and crackers or something like hardtack like you've seen on my channel, bring yourself some fruits and vegetables to snack on along the way, because they're full of water and they will help keep you hydrated. Don't let yourself get thirsty, because by the time you get thirsty, you're already dehydrated. And I know when we're thirsty, we have a tendency to want to go in and just chug ice cold water, but really that's not the best thing to do either. What you want to do is just drink it slowly, and it's much better if it's room temperature, because it causes less sort of processes in your body to occur. So some room temperature water, and just take your time and drink it at a normal rate instead of just chugging down ice cold bottles of water, which I myself am guilty of. I just take and just inhale them basically within a second or two whenever I'm real thirsty, because all this good advice that I'm giving you, I really don't follow myself, and I need to get better at doing so. When I go to LARP, I don't eat, I don't drink hardly at all. I just try to enjoy every moment of the game, and I don't want to be held back by eating or drinking. And it probably causes me issues to be fatigued, maybe cramp up and stuff sometimes, but for the most time I am able to get by without doing these things. But that doesn't mean that you can, and it's a much better, safer practice to follow the suggestions of health professionals rather than to do what Crazy Max does when he goes to games. So we want to make sure that we're drinking water or some sort of sports drink while you're at LARP, especially if you're having battles and combats and you're doing a lot of walking and hiking. If you saw my video on how far I walk, I think it was something like 27 miles or something that I put down in a weekend, and that's quite a bit of walking. So you definitely want to stay hydrated while you're doing that. And dehydration, even though I mentioned that it's really hot, it's summertime, it's sort of uncharacteristically warm, it's very humid, dehydration can happen anytime. It can happen in winter. If you're all layered up and you're out there and you're still doing a lot of walking or a lot of fighting, you can get dehydrated in the wintertime as well. So you really want to make sure that this just becomes a common practice when you're doing any sort of physical activity. As far as, just overall, just be aware if you start feeling dizzy, if you're feeling fatigued or tired, if you're getting muscle cramps, that's probably a good sign that you're dehydrated. So you want to go ahead, take a minute, get some water, take a break, and then get back in the game. Now they say 4 to 6 ounces or 120 to 175 milliliters every 15 to 20 minutes. Now I know that that's highly unrealistic when you're LARPing, to be able to sit down and basically drink a small glass of water or sports drink every 15 to 20 minutes when you're in the middle of doing stuff, especially if you're in the middle of combat. So some ways to get around that is get yourself a genre or period canteen or some sort of vessel to drink from that you can carry on you, so you can just sort of take pulls from that all day. Camelbacks or generic versions of camelbacks are also a fantastic way to do it. I see a lot of people at games walk around with these. Now if it's a modern future or like a post-apocalyptic style game, they fit in a lot better because you can leave them just as is, or you can genre them just a little bit and wear them, and there's not really any harm or foul. It's just something that exists that you're wearing. Now if you're doing a medieval style game, that's tough because you have to sort of conceal it a little bit, and that might be a topic for a future video. But generally, if you wear it under your armor, they're not very thick, even full, they're still pretty thin. So if you wear it under your armor, under your costume, and just have the little hose come up and maybe have it tucked in your collar or have it easily accessible. I've seen people with them on the outside. I don't like the way that looks, but if you concealed it just on the inside where you could just sort of drink from it, or you could just pop it out and take a drink real quick and put it away, I think that would be smart. But yeah, camelbacks or some sort of container to drink out of, preferably not just a water bottle or a modern style canteen or thermos or something. Make it look period or genre, but then that way, no matter what you're doing, you can take sips from it, during combat breaks, while you're walking, whatever you're doing, and that way you're sure to stay hydrated and performing at your optimum levels, because they say that a 1% loss in weight from dehydration is a 2% loss in speed, basically, out on the field. So even if you're dehydrated a little bit, you'll start feeling it in a prolonged combat. So do yourself a favor, stay well hydrated, and just be a better combatant, be a better player at your game, and also avoid a lot of those pitfalls of just being really tired and really sore, especially if you're driving home after an event. That's the last thing you want, because there's been plenty of times I've been driving home and felt the old nap time wanting to kick in, and that's a bad place to be when you're driving. So stay hydrated, stay safe, and as always, adventure on.